Thanks, Dave. Breaker Resources has established a 1.7 million ounce gold resource at its Lake Row project, 100 kilometres from Kalgoorlie, which is progressing resource and exploration drilling in parallel with economic studies. It also holds a valuable stake in the Monolithium discovery. To tell us more, please welcome Executive Chairman Tom Sanders.
Thanks, Abby. Thank you, Reed Corporate, for a fantastic event, and thank you for coming along today. It's great to be back. Breaker listed in 2012 to look for large new gold systems concealed by transported cover in Australia's most prolific gold province. Usual cautionary statements. We found one. 100 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie, which is supposed to be a mature brownfields area. We now have a mineral resource of 1.7 million ounces that we've built up over about a 6-year period. It's in Western Australia, which is now ranked world's #1 mining destination. Our focus is on production or development and growth. The system that we found is 9 kilometres long. We could be drilling there for years. So we thought it prudent to put a foot back on the development pedal, and we're going as hard as we can. We haven't set a timeline on production because we're still looking at all possibilities for processing, including toll treatment. But our base case scenario is a standalone operation. The Bombora Deposit, 3 kilometres of that 9-kilometre system, is 3 kilometres long. I'm talking about a single open pit, 3 kilometres long. It will take you 30 minutes to walk it. That's a big pit. The gold starts 5 metres from surface and extends to as deep as we've drilled, which is about 800 metres below surface. We have high endowment of 4,000 ounces per vertical metre over that 3-odd kilometres, some areas higher. And we can mine it in an open pit. In early stage open pit costs as low as 750 Aussie per ounce. What's really exciting is that in the last year we've hit high grade, continuous loads below the open pit resource. This is going to go underground. So we're now in the happy situation where we have base load open pit feed for a large standalone plant, and we can supplement that with high grade feed over a long period. Our underground resource only started life in April of last year. We did another update in December. It's now 659,000 ounces. Resource is growing rapidly. We did a preliminary Part A open pit scoping study in April. We expect to put out a preliminary underground study this month. So you'll see ongoing growth. You'll see a very strong focus on development because we have ongoing discovery potential there. We are well funded. We have about $25 million in cash and listed shares. We have 2 very important non-core assets that we don't talk about much. But each of these, I believe, can justify Breaker's current enterprise value. So in other words, 2 of the three assets are essentially for free in a sense. The Monolithium Asset is a discovery on the Lake Row project. We recently did a deal with Global Lithium, so now our 20% interest is free carried through to the conclusion of a positive bankable feasibility study. A maiden resource came out in February. Breaker did a lot of preliminary work in preparation for that. I'm confident it's going to grow. Global Lithium are doing a great job out there. We've got two rigs going on the ground. They're going hard on a 20,000 metre RC program, to be followed by a diamond program. Our Yularing project in the southwest, Yilgarn, not far from Julimar, pegged before, I believe, but it's been a low focus for us. We plan to be drilling there in 6 to 8 weeks. My expectation is discovery. So we have good ground, we have good projects, we have a fantastic team. If you look at the individuals there, and I'm not going to go through individually, you'll see mining engineers, you'll see geologists, you'll see metallurgists, resource lawyers. Now Peter Cook, I will mention, he's well known in the Australian mining industry, he's well known for getting mines happening. At Westgold, he set up about half a dozen operations, open pit and underground, owner-operator basis, so he's got his finger right on the pulse. We've recently added 3 geologists because we're beefing up our drilling. We want it to grow faster. Sam Smith, the COO, started last week. As I mentioned, we're well cashed up. What I have there in graph is the share price over the last year. What's interesting here is some of the shareholders. Okay, the board holds 9%. We're well aligned with shareholders, and we think like shareholders. Then you see what I've got listed, 26% of approximate 30% US holding, major international funds. Unusually invested in what is essentially still a junior. They're not interested in 10 or 20%. Paulson & Co. John Paulson, the guy behind The Big Short, bet against the banks and won. He's backing us. Now this is a greenfields discovery. That cover or brown dirt that you can see there conceals a lot of deposits, and that was the reason for our listing. It conceals the discovery, which is, as I mentioned, 100 kilometres east of Kalgoorlie, between the Carasue operating mine and the Crony operating mine. What's interesting here is the grey stuff that you see there are the edges of a major rift, and we're on the eastern side of it. And you see some very large deposits there, and you see a similar thing on the western side, including the Kalgoorlie deposit. So it's in a fantastic area. The transported cover that you see there is only about 5 metres thick. It's enough to conceal it, but not enough to interfere with the mining. This gives you a closer view of our project in relation to the regional structure which we originally zoned in on. We are about 60 kilometres from 2 processing plants, so there is a possibility for toll treating, so we're investigating that. That's one of the reasons we haven't put a timing out yet on our PFS study. We're looking at all possibilities to maximise the MPV. It's a large 10-year project, 600 square kilometres. That lithium deal I mentioned only covered 50 kilometres of that. We own it 100%, and we have a granted mining lease over the main gold project. It's a strategic asset in a strategic location. We are going for standalone. If, in the worst possible situation, we are taken over, the shareholder, whenever that is, and I'll be fighting it, will get probably likely 40% on the current share price, whatever that is. And I expect it to be well north where it is now. What you have there in the centre of the image is you're looking down on the 3-kilometre Bombora Deposit. Little things you can see there are RC drill bags. Off in the distance there is another satellite deposit. Completely covered. So what we do in that situation, we like those two lines coming together, hourglassing on the previous image. We like that. We got on the ground here. We found the right rocks. Dolerite, the most prospective, the rock that hosts the most gold in Australia. This style of deposit is most closely comparable to the Golden Mile. We see, like the Golden Mile, 3 lode orientations in the upper part of a dolerite behaving very systematically over long distances. So getting back to that discovery story, we simply did wide-spaced air core drilling, and that generated that red image in the background. The pink stuff is about 300,000 metres of RC and diamond drilling. So we haven't covered all of this system. We're just going in on 3 kilometres of it. And so far we've got a 3-kilometre pit. Since I've been coming here, first year, 2016, since that time we've drilled 315,000 metres. For every $40 we've spent, we've added an ounce of gold. If you look at our annual reports, 80 to 90% of the money that we spend goes into the ground. If you look at the various cut-offs on the 1.7 million ounce resource, you'll see an open pit component and you'll see an underground component. This is a very flexible deposit. We've got base load open cut feed for a large standalone plant, which not all deposits have, and we've got the high grade to mine underground on it. Change the cut-off where the open pit finishes, change the grade, and you go underground. You're now looking side on at the deposit over about 4 kilometres. That's about 8 Sydney Harbour bridges. This is big. That darker grey stuff is an optimised 3-kilometre long open pit. Underneath it, you can see that's where we did our initial drilling. That's where we focused the drilling because we wanted to generate a production option. Below it you see wider space drilling, and that's what's hit the high grade loads beneath the open pit. So we got high grade at surface, high grade at depth, at scale, and completely open. We're now looking at a cross section through the deposit. On the left-hand side, we're getting flat loads, west dipping loads, and steep loads. Those green flat loads are coming in and out of the page over 2 kilometres. This is big scale, and you can see some of the ounces per vertical metre on the centre image, around about 4,000 ounces. And combined with the width, 150 metres, it's good for open pitting. Low strip ratio, especially early on, but with a high grade to track it at depth. This shows more of a 3D image of the whole system in relation to the drilling. So this wireframes well. And by the way, Optero did our resource, probably Australia's top-ranked resource outfit. Recent initial open pit study to be followed by underground studies. What this says is we can make a lot of money quickly when we go open pit mining. Simple as that. Steep loads going high grade. What you're looking at there is 900 metres down plunge with consistent high grade mineralisation that is perfect for open pit mining. And you see the same on the flat loads. These things go for 2 kilometres. Metallurgy is at feasibility level. No options, all points to low-cost processing. Free carried lithium interest, which unfortunately I don't have time to dwell on, but you'll be able to catch up on that. Yallourn project, I expect discovery here, just to reiterate that. The market is not always rational. We have an absolute cracker of a gold project that the market is currently valuing as a sub-economic resource. It doesn't make sense. It's poised for a re-rate. Now what's interesting here is keep in mind what I said about the inherent value of those 2 non-core projects. So we've got a brand new gold system, it's going to be a mine, and we have several upcoming catalysts to go with it. Thank you very much for your attention.